Once again, to you, our viewers back at home, welcome to another exciting episode of Plumbing 101. Nedzina langande Rendani Tshivhula, aka Randy, your number one MC. Yes, man. Now, today's episode is quite a powerful episode. We'll be discussing transformation and how important transformation is within the plumbing industry. I'll be joined in studio by powerful key contributors within the plumbing industry of South Africa who will help me unpackage this concept of transformation. And we'll also be touching a little bit on inclusivity and its relevance within the plumbing industry. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, we're going to take a quick ad break and we'll continue right after this. We'll be right back. Being part of an industry professional body is a personal decision.
To those who take pride in their trade, it stretches far beyond having a status of being licensed to issue certificates of compliance.
To them, the consumer matters.
As part of the plumbing industry, you help to bring the most valuable commodity to civilization. Water is life.
Be sure to continue to reap the benefits of being a proudly PIRB registered plumber by continually renewing your registration. Welcome back to Plumbing 101. Now, before we took an ad break, I did tell you that we'd be joined by key contributors within the plumbing industry. And in studio today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm with a powerful and very influential woman. Now, she was teaching us some serious English words before we started the show, yeah? But let me give you her profile. She's the chairperson of Women in Plumbing South Africa. She's the chairperson of the Transformation Committee within the plumbing industry. She's an executive board member at the Plumbing Industry Registration Board. She's part of the SABS Technical Committee. She's also an IOPSA auditor. And if I can continue, I'm sure we're not even going to start the engagement yet. Ladies and gentlemen, Lorraine Mooi. Lorraine, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you, Rendani? Thank you for having me.
I'm very well. It's so interesting, you know. I'm seeing you on TV. I'm hearing you on radio, speaking plumbing. And all of a sudden now we are engaging, right? Come on. Isn't that like ironic?
I was able to squeeze you in my schedule.
And she's not joking. She's got a very tight schedule. So I want to jump straight into it, all right? Yeah. For people who don't know Lorraine Mooi, or perhaps even those who have a misconception around who you are, can you just give us a brief introduction as to who you are?
Brief introduction of Lorraine Mooi. I'm a plumber. That's first and foremost. I'm a licensed plumber. My mother's a plumber. So it embodies every facet of my life.
Yes. From
owning plumbing businesses, having a plumbing hardware, being part of my plumbing industry, being part of it in many areas. Obviously, as a woman, being in one of the most male-dominated industries, it's an interesting industry to be part of.
Yes.
It's also I have to say that in the last couple of years, the plumbing industry has taken a more conscious decision to be more inclusive.
Yes. And
to have more women inclusion. I mean, in the last 3 years, there's been a 168% jump in women licensed plumbers. But really, for me, Lorraine Mooi is a plumber who likes to, and I do laugh a lot, but I'm told very aggressive, and I am.
You're in a tough industry. You gotta be tough.
You gotta be tough as nails, yeah. And I am as hard as I am, as soft as I am as well.
Come on, I like that. I like strategic with words. I'm telling you, very powerful. But Lorraine, we're speaking transformation on today's episode.
Yeah.
All right. And I think there's a huge misconception around the concept of transformation, what it stands for, and its purpose. All right. And your understanding, because you're the chairperson of the Transformation Committee within the plumbing industry.
Yeah.
What is transformation in line to the plumbing industry of South Africa?
I think a lot of people always think of transformation as a black and white issue, where it isn't a black and white issue. Yes, there's facets of it that involve color, but it also involves how we interact with different stakeholders in the industry. Because as we've seen now, there's an increase in women in this industry. We've got people that were excluded in certain ways. There's individuals that were unable to qualify, because of our past.
Yes.
And the industry itself has taken a big stance in the fact that we need to make sure that we're able to assist those. I mean, the RPL process for one, which is recognition of prior learning, because as I tell guys, you got your bra Joe who's in the township, who's been a plumber for the past X amount of years, and not to say there's not a good plumber, but because there's never qualification, he doesn't have the same standing as I do as one that has a qualification. And transformation is also really about transferring of skills, because at the end of the day, I'm Lorraine Mooi with this knowledge that I have. If I'm not able to disseminate my skill to somebody else so that there's a continuity, and we also make sure that the level of skill is upheld, that is the most important thing. And that for us as Transformation Committee is to get into areas that we haven't been before. Like KZN guys have been very instrumental in having meetings in the Mlazis and in other surrounding townships, because they want to get engagement from those individuals. And they want to get and the message out that our industry is not simply as you see it, because people have a misconception that our industry is lily white, but it isn't, because the majority of people that work in our industry are people of color. So for transformation for us is just about that. It's just changing the perception of industry itself and also getting more inclusion in different stakeholders in the industry.
I love your response, and the reason why I love it, because you've mentioned inclusivity, but besides inclusivity, you spoke of reskilling, sharing knowledge transfer. And how important is that? How important is it within the plumbing industry, especially for the sustainability of the industry?
It's crucial. If our skills, the thing is this, you're only as good as your last installation, and if your last installation was not your best, and and as a tradesperson who's aligned to a professional body, and I always tell people I'm a professional. Understand? Don't get me twisted. I am a professional. I'm aligned to a professional body. I am registered with one, and because of that, I've got continuous professional development, which is
CPD,
which is crucial, because I have to make sure that I upskill myself. Because if you don't, you are forever lagging behind,
100%.
because there's always somebody who's going faster because they find more efficient ways to do things. There's somebody who has found a smarter way, and that's why upskilling is so important. And that's why it's so important that you, as the licensed plumber, with your teams, you've got to have a dissemination of your skill. 100%. You've got to. It's so very, very important. And with that in mind, like I said, being a professional plumber, your mindset has to, how does a professional act? Like you look at the doctors, you look at the lawyers, you look at anybody aligned to a professional body, there's recourse, because you cannot just act any simple way, anyway. Because at the end of the day, the consumer deserves the best. If you're charging a consumer X, the value has to match that. And that's what's crucial.
That's why she's the chairperson of the transformation committee within the plumbing industry, ladies and gentlemen. She speaks so well. I wish I could flow like you, You articulate it so well. But now, I always say this, and especially in Plumbing 101, I don't like romanticizing discussions, right? Let's go into the nitty-gritty one. Let's speak about women in plumbing, within the plumbing industry. I mean, I'm looking at the stats, Lorraine. 2%, 2.3%, I would assume that there's a bit of growth, But now, how is Women in Plumbing South Africa ensuring that more women are joining the industry?
First of all, representation is key, because you cannot become something that you don't see.
Yeah.
If you look at the majority, why there's been such an influx, I'm going to divert a bit, because you look at your Instagrams and you look at your whatevers, it's because people see somebody on those platforms and I can become like them. So now the thing is the trades in themselves have been given a very bad reputation. We are seen as the bottom of the barrel. We are seen as this is a place where dreams go to die. And it is such a disservice to tradespeople, because with us the world can't function. Not at all. From plumbers to bricklayers to carpenters to electricians, you cannot function without us. And now the thing is with the young women, we are always taught that we need to go into traditional roles of we need to be secretaries, we need to be PAs, 100%. We need to be accountants, we need to be nurses, not doctors, nurses, because we need to assist the doctor. But we're never told that we can be tradespeople. We should go out there. There's no representation, whereas there's women out there that are, there's another Lorraine, I think it's just in the name. Amazing. Lorraine is a bricklayer, and she's amazing. This woman is on another level. There's Tembi, who has a carpentry business in Mpumalanga. And the thing is these women are not given exposure. They're not given the same platforms that the models are. And all due respect to people that are models and whatever it is, fantastic for you. That's your dream. But if women are not given an option, a plethora of options to say you can be anything within the scope, then what do you look at? I myself studied financial information systems first. I did it for 3 years. And I was like, after the diploma, I was like, thank you, I'm done. I don't want to do this. And because my mother, and I saw my mother who had gone from corporate, this woman was high heels, hair back to nails, you know, she was that woman. And I show up and she's in boots and overalls, and I'm just like, what happened? And seeing her, I thought to myself, I can do this. And that's the thing, though. It's representation. It's not only here in South Africa. You look at Britain, where, I mean, it's like 1.5%. You look at Australia, it's 1.5%. And when I speak to these women in these countries, they're like, you guys are sitting at 2.3%, plumbers only. And that's with trades. I'm not talking about plumbing. And they're very surprised about that, that we are, wow, you know, you guys are ahead of the pack. And I said, my army hasn't grown big enough yet. Until my army is sitting at least 30%, then I'll be like, yes, army.
Come on.
Yes, army.
I love that. And I want to break perceptions. You mentioned something so crucial. There's a perception around women being only administrative, you know, behind the scenes, not technical. I mean, you go up, you go to the roof, you go change that geyser, you know. So what opportunities are provided by the plumbing industry in South Africa? You know, what opportunities are there? Because it's a wide range within the plumbing industry.
I think people look at plumbing as one-dimensional. You know, we come in, we install a geyser, or we do about pipes or whatever it is. But there's so much going on. I mean, there's grey water harvesting, there's pumping systems, there's filtration systems that you can specialize in, there's renewable energy that you can go into. And that's where we find a lot of now funders in terms of apprenticeships. Number one, are looking for more women. I think now there's a program running that's got about 50% women. It's 150 young ladies, black young ladies that are going through this program. And also with even when they're scoping out the funding, say, if you're not going to have women representation, please, we'll take our money somewhere else. And also you got your insurance companies that are saying we want more women-owned businesses on our panels, and we want to utilize them and grow them. And that is where we're seeing that people are seeing the value of women. We are very detail orientated. And I always tell guys, let me and you go and install a geyser.
Come on.
Trust me. The Olympics.
Come on.
I win gold. I know. This is what I do. It is the way that it is. And I think people understand that. And so I will say, but what about the strength factor? Because I get told all the time, how do you carry a geyser? I was like, how do you carry a geyser, sir? We have found ways. We have found innovative ways to do our job, because this is the job that we signed up for. Not as if we didn't know that you're going to have to carry a geyser, you're going to have to unblock a drain, you're going to have to, you know, do a plethora of things. And that's the thing that is so important, that people understand that women are being recognized for our value and what we bring.
Doing a plethora of things. Lorraine, I told you, she's teaching me some English. I bet you didn't know what plethora is, right? Before we go for an ad break, okay? I want to hear from you I want to call you a role model, all right? Because you're a pioneer. You're groundbreaking. You went head on. You didn't let perceptions create fear within you. You said, it looks like a male-dominated industry, but I'm going to change this, all right? And you're doing it. And I mean, people never get their flowers while they can still smell them. I also want to plethoraize this, all right? So I have to tell you this, because it's so great to see a living example, someone taking action instead of just speaking, you know? What would you like to say to women who want to join the industry, perhaps who don't understand, who still have that perception around the industry? What message do you want to leave behind?
I think the most important thing is with any career they decide to go into, you need to research it and understand it. You need to understand, what do I need to do to become who I want to be? And you also need to understand that coming into one of the most male-dominated industries, there's a lot of, we are rated differently than our male counterparts. But with that said, and I say this, it's amazing, it's fun. I enjoy it. Like, it gives me joy. I walk into people's houses and I'm just like, oh, shame. Well, I could fix that. And I told them. And it's such an interesting career, because you got such a career path, because you go from being a learner to being a licensed plumber, then you can be a master plumber. Come on. Just saying that word, master plumber, gives me chills. You know, and imagine you walking up to somebody and someone says, you're just a plumber, and you say, I'm a master plumber. You know, and it's such an amazing industry to be part of, because of the different associations that are involved. You know, we've got, like I said, the professional body, which is the most important thing, because you're aligned to professional body. Anybody says to me ABC, I go, me, professional.
There we go.
Break barriers. heard, and hence why we sit on SABS on several committees, is because it's important that you understand the flow of where things come from and where the standards come from and why they're done that way. I mean, right now, as we submitted a document to SABS regarding A18, which says the plumber he. And I'm like, I'm not he.
Yeah, come on. Change the wording.
And we said to them, from going forward, when you guys are reviewing your standards, please make sure it's more inclusive.
Yes.
And as women, if we're not going to take a stand, remember, no one's going to fix our problems except for us. We're the ones who are going to solve them. And that's why we need more representation. We need more women wanting to do the work and wanting to be part of such an amazing industry.
Come on. I don't know if it's because I was raised by a single woman or a single parent, but for me, it goes deeper than just a title, you know? And I have to say this, there's a reason why Africa is called Mama Africa and not Papa Africa. That doesn't even sound nice, you know? You guys are incubators, you give life to everything. And I think without you within the plumbing industry, there's no life. So a big shout out to you, Lorraine. You're doing fantastic. And to everyone that's watching this right now, this is a living example of break boundaries, you know, go head onto it. Do not let perceptions create fear and intimidation, all right? Take action. The industry is for us to grow. And that's why transformation is quite significant. It's beyond just black and white. It's creating, you know, rectifying the imbalances of the past. It's quite crucial we do that. But Lorraine, I know your schedule is quite tight. I do know that, all right? I just want to thank you so much for joining us on Plumbing 101. We have to do this again.
Thank you very much.
It's a must. It's a must. It's a must. And I know I'm going to speak to the producers about this. All right? It's too short. Thank you for joining us. But before we let you go, we're going to be taking a quick ad break, but we'll be right back.
Coming up next, we hear from one of our pro plumbers from our national roadshow. Then we catch up with some news from the industry. We'll be right back.
My name is Richard Wiederholt from Advanced Valves. I've been involved in pressure reduction valves for the last 26 years. Advanced Valves was founded 6 years ago by myself. We have grown from strength to strength, first starting with a pressure reduction valve, moving along onto vacuum breakers, safety valves, drain cocks, fine filters, thermostatic mixing valves, hydro boxes, diverter valves, and we are not stopping to continue developing new products. Our valves are available at all leading plumbing retailers such as Plumblink, Buco, Build It, Cashbuild. I appeal to all plumbers in South Africa to support Advanced Valves as we are proudly South African.
Hi, my name's Mark Williamson. I've been plumbing for 15 years, both for myself as a contractor. I'm now full-time employed for Riddle Construction. We do developments and plumbing jobbing as well. I have been a PIRB member and licensed plumber since 2012, and I love what the PIRB is doing for the industry. It's been great to see the growth and what they have achieved in that time.
And you said that you love what the PIRB has been doing. With regards to CPD points and COC and the information that you're getting, do you think it's quite valid? Is it valuable?
It's very valuable. I have learned and I have grown as a plumber by following the CPD system and by attending tech talks and listening to the podcasts. It's certainly been very valuable to me, very much so.
Any words of advice to plumbers that aren't registered with the PIRB and perhaps who aren't even qualified yet, who are still doing it in an informal way but have the experience? What words of advice would you share with them?
I would say that based on my experience, it's well worthwhile. What you will learn and how you will grow as a plumber is it's very undervalued actually. I think the cost of membership doesn't cover the value of the learning material that you get from the PIRB and the support that you get, the growth that they're doing to the industry.
What would you do if you found hundreds of envelopes filled with money hidden inside of the walls of one of your customers? The New York Times reported on a Houston-based plumber finding $600,000, an equivalent of 9 million South African rands, hidden inside the walls of a Lakewood church. This was after the plumber was asked to fix a toilet. He then contacted a maintenance supervisor and gave them the envelopes. I hope the plumber gets a reward for this. Great work, proud plumber. The Plumbing Industry Registration Board had their annual Champions for Charity event on the 27th of November. The goal of the initiative is to provide and to contribute to solutions for the development and growth of our country. We are so glad to announce that the event has raised over 50,000 Rand, which benefits our community and adds to the development of our societies. This could not have been done without our sponsors and the people who contributed. So thank you for plowing back into society. Once again, we have proven that through collaboration, we can change each other's lives. From me, Tobile, till next time, signing out.
Once again, to you, our viewers back at home, I did tell you today's episode is quite a powerful one. And I'd like to encourage you, the role player within the plumbing industry, to really conscientize your mind around the concept of transformation. We did also touch a little bit on inclusivity. I'd like to urge you, the young individual, to actually participate. Do some research around the plumbing industry. There are plenty of opportunities that are there to empower you. Remember, without your participation, we as an industry cannot reach our maximum potential. To you, the consumer back at home, thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope today's episode has opened your mind and made you realize the significance and importance of transformation and inclusivity within our amazing industry. But from my side, it's a wrap. To you watching, remember, for more information, go on to our website, www.pirb.co.za. Until we do it again next time, Dzina langa ndi Rendani Tshivhula, aka Randy, your #1 MC. Yes, smack!